Hello there, Gacha gamers, and as I was sat there contemplating what could I talk about, I figured it was probably worth sitting there and doing a bit of a dissection. So here we have my brand new highest monster. As you can see now at the top of my screen, there's a lot of them there. Why? Why suddenly has the man that has only raised tyrants and pixels for most of this game's existence suddenly run 8 million Amaterasu? Fleria. It, it, not even the MR, the SSR. She has made such a difference to doing these runs. It's quite ridiculous, and that's not it. We did get a shiny new tool to play around with in Retsu, so what I want to do is deconstruct what I'm running and why. A big chunk of that is Red doesn't have many options, but first and foremost we remove some of the defense negation. So I've put 5 points into speed, 5 points into defense. Having it at 9 stars means that you get those 10 extra attribute points. 10 is another 5 to all of the stats in a monster level, but it doesn't matter that much. Now, I have been running, actually. I borrowed Grey Switch and my funny little guy, only down to the fact that 1, decent compatibility, and 2, lots of sweep. Between them, they've all got the 9-star domination, which is just quite nice. Now, for the card setup, some of this is, well, what you'd expect. We're running a beast, so we're using the new beast card. Thanks, randoms. We're using red, so we're using the red hero cards. Like, those are non-negotiable. If you are raising a type of monster, 9 times out of 10 you want to be bringing that monster type MR. So you've got the tiger here for the beast, you've got a Cyrus for creation, you've got the Mew for inorganics. You also have the Monol for inorganics, but I still actually genuinely think that the Mew is a better card. Running them both is nice though. What else have we got? We've got the Arc for Spirit, I think. I don't know. Irrespective, you'll see them when you're looking for them because they'll have the little beast logo, and they'll of course be MRs. There will be SSRs with logos for beast eventually. There we go. That is not a beast card. Whilst this exists, it is not a beast card. This is still predominantly a card of its aura. I do wonder if we'll ever get a little sorting for monsters, and they give us ones like that, but oh, go away. No, I don't want that. I can't really see it happening. You know, they're still caring a lot about boosting auras. So, the beast card is non-negotiable. Big stats, a nice plus 60, decent training, decent loyalty, decent stat caps. Lots of big bonuses there. Int and defense. Then we've got speed coming from our Garli card, and this is probably the biggest curveball here for red, but it's just a really solid card. Great chance, training chance, 3 to speed up, more great chance, more training. The aura effects are extra Noramon things and increased Noramon chance. How much that ever helps? Yeah, it's a big question mark. Theoretically, it's really good for giving you better parents because more Noramon skills and more Noramon secrets will help you in the long run. Then we've got Bolshak, which is just a solid card. A little bit power crept by this point. You know, it's not giving the big bonuses to stats as it once was. It's got decent training, decent loyalty bonus, and it's a solid hit, a solid power and life card. And then we've got the new Funky Crab, plus 60 to creation, doesn't matter, it's a moot point here, but the extra 50% to errantry and 40% EX chance makes this card non-negotiable for red. You just got to use it. It's got great chance, it's got training chance, and a fatigue reduction as well. It's got plus 3 to skill, it's got 150 bonus to skill, and great and training chance. It's just non-negotiable. Single-handedly one of the best cards red has access to. Except Frelia exists. Plus 80 that we're getting here, plus 10% EX growth bonus for beasts, an additional chunk of starting stats, 10% colourless errantry, and a cheeky extra errantry ticket, more chance of her appearing on drills, extra super errantries for beasts, and plus 1 to all errantry growths. This is nothing compared to the MR, but it's still incredibly serviceable. And then we've got Shuna, who, you know, as a solid proponent of bringing cards together, is pretty good. Most of these assist MRs are phenomenal little cards. What's really, I think, important with all of this is trying to maintain one of every stat. It's frustrating to not be able to have multiples here, you know, but unfortunately red doesn't have much MR roll compression. You know, yes, I could throw more MRs in that are red. It's not going to do much for me because it's literally going to give me skill and defense or skill and speed. I don't need either of those because that's just going to throw everything out of whack. You know, I could swap that speed card out for Millium, but then I need more life to counterbalance. So whilst the errantries end up being poor, we end up getting some really nice trainings out of these monsters because there's a lot of training bonus, and making sure that we cover all the bases. You know, oh, why don't you ignore a stat, etc. This on the left here, an unrelated run, but it's worth pointing out because here on the left you can see that at the bottom, young Aunt Verd, which is still weird, is there with a rainbow appeal effect, despite this training being power and speed. And that's down to the fact that ultimately the int or defense is being buffed by the Tiger MR, and that breeder can carry that over. Obviously, if we could have more MRs, that would be more compression of skills and would make this a much more frequent bonus, but red doesn't get to play like that, unfortunately. We just have to get what we're given and put up with it. Not having a stat means that you lose the chance of having these boosted, and that's big. That is a big loss. It's why it was a big kneecap in the SSR run that I did. It is of the utmost importance, really, to be having all 6 of these bases covered. Regardless of whether your monster wants to use the stat or not, missing out... Oh, it's okay, that doesn't need to be there anyway. Missing out on that stat can absolutely stop your progress. At some point I might do one of these runs on camera. I'm kind of feeling it at the moment. There's a lot of fun to be had in pushing these beasts. A shame I couldn't get the Lords, but it is what it is. If there's anything you want to see me raise, I'm more than open to try and see what we can do with XYZ. But with all of that said, hopefully the insight will be useful to some of you. You know, for some people this is just common knowledge, but I figured I'd get it out there and really sort of dissect a little as to why. Well, as to why I did what I did and why it ended up working. With that said, I'll see you all next time.